Now straight to what the papers is saying, and we'll have Dr. Constance Ikoku here with us on our second advent.
Yes, the second advent. Good morning, Indy.
Morning.
Again, and good morning, Nkechi. Yes, to discuss the papers with us this morning, we have Chuks Akuna. He is the Executive Director of Authority newspaper. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you very much for having me. Good morning.
Yeah.
Good morning, chicks.
Hello there, and welcome to the program. So we'll begin with This Day newspaper. In This Day, Tinubu condemns violence in Rivers, orders IG to secure LGA offices. PDP accuses INEC of doctoring beavers to conceal rigging at Edo gubernatorial poll. Edo in-country food production will tame inflation, strengthen exchange rate. The Minister of Finance and Coordinating Minister for the Economy, Mr. Wale Edu, spoke as the federal government collaborates with the African Development Bank and other institutions on a plan to boost food production. Well, we've always known this, that it's important to produce what you consume, if not all of it, majority. All you have to do is make it a reality. Just do it. Chuks.
Yes, exactly. Very interesting. First of all, you have to, a country that cannot feed itself, will have problems. Look at China. China is the second largest country in the world in terms of population. But China is very strategic. China has about 5 years food reserve. China has even gone as far as buying up farms in Europe, because if you look at geographical size, China is about the size of the US, but about 3 or 4 times the population. So it's very strategic for Nigeria to talk about producing enough food to eat, because that's the only way that we can, curb inflation. Because it's when you produce food that you have enough to process, and when you have enough to process, you have enough for export. And when you're able to export food, you earn the much needed foreign exchange. So what happened in the First Republic? Our major revenue earner was food, cocoa in the southwest, palm in the southeast, in the east, and then, of course, granules in the northern region. So it's a good thing that the government is thinking along this line.
The case for this is even more poignant when you view the fact that we have arable land. And there are countries that don't have land, and they live in the desert. We have everything, literally.
Now here's the thing. We left agriculture when we discovered what is called gold. I mean, we used to have cocoa, so many stuff, and we still do have. Now, Adewumi Adesina, the AFD president, maybe Nigeria is now going back to what he said. He said, you can't import your way out of poverty, out of whatever, And now, so they're going back to this. It's good. The special agro-processing zone, phase 1, that they're starting with about 5 or 6 states or thereabout. Temporary measure again. But the question is, while you're, like Yobosa said yesterday about, the policies of government, while you're trying to solve a problem, you're creating a humongous problem. The point is, how are the farmers being helped with the cost of things, particularly transportation? I think the government should think more about addressing root causes, finding a way to have a base to help people before, churning out these policies. Because otherwise, when you churn them out, the root causes keep causing upheavals in the system.
Okay, let's look at Punch newspaper. Fubara camp opposes emergency rule as 3 killed. Secretary has raised a 2027 Obi Kwankwanso Alliance proposal will fail, says APC. FG lists 7 states for Mpox vaccination. FG panel proposes 6-month supply for Dangote refinery. Talking about 2027, I mean, it's quite somewhere away, but this alliance, proposed alliance, Chuks, what's your thought on it?
Yes, I think it's early in the day, and like this 24 hours they say in politics is a very, very long time. There's still a very long way to go. We still have about few months short of three years to go. But it's good that there are political realignments, because apparently Kwankwanso and Obi and of course Atiku have seen that that's the way to go. Because if you recall, APC ACN had tried to wrest power from PDP for several years, but had to go into alliance with other parties to form a merger to form the APC. And it was only when they did that they were able to wrest power in 2015. So I think that's what they are borrowing a leaf from the strategy of the APC, what the APC used in 2015.
But if there's going to be an alliance, you want to start early, or a merger. It takes a lot of work to be able to bring everyone together to an agreement, Nkechi.
Yes, definitely. And I think that was one of the issues that these opposing candidates had back in the 2023 elections. They didn't have the same, they were not standing on the same line, basically. Everyone thought, oh, I'm bigger than this person, I can't align with this person. But if you're trying to say remove an incumbent government, you have to all align and be on the same line. That's where you have your goal. What is your goal? What are your visions for the people? And if you all have the same goals, the same visions for the citizens of Nigeria, I think it should be easy to align. And I don't even think 3 years is enough time to get all this together as we're heading to 2027. But we'll see how it pans out. Like Chuk said, 24 hours in politics is a very long time. And I won't be surprised if we start seeing other headlines like what happened in the previous election, saying, oh, we're not aligned with this person, we're doing this on our own as time goes on. I think it's quite early.
Well, APC says that it will fail. They surely want it to fail. But I think Nigerians do not want a one-party state. Let's move on to Daily Trust. Tinubu releases 1,200 fertilizer bags to each senator, 600 to House of Reps members. Bandits kill 8 Zamfara community guards. Shera Council defends Senator Buba against politically motivated attacks. Rivers crisis again escalates. 4 local government secretariats bond. We've discussed that earlier on this program. Then Dangote Refinery. Nigerians may pay more for petrol as NNPC quits middleman role. NNPC has previously bought petrol from Dangote and sold at a subsidized rate to marketers. Now, marketers need to purchase directly, and this will affect the prices. Chooks, just when we thought that we've reached the height of hardship, it looks like this is just the beginning.
I think that's the reality of a free market, of total removal of subsidy. You remember you called in 2014, then a presidential aspirant, Muhammadu Buhari, claimed that whoever was talking about subsidy was a fraud. But you know, when he became president, he saw the reality. And I think in 2023, on the date of his inauguration as president, President Bola Ahmed Tinubu said that subsidy was gone. But then he sooner than later realized that, that there's a difference between fantasy and reality. So I think it's beginning to dawn on everybody that if you want to talk about removal of subsidy on petrol, you have to allow market forces intervene. And that's why you see over the months, you see NNPCL has been struggling to actually breach the gap. But I think they've said, no, it's enough of this. Let the market forces work and let marketers go buy directly from Dangote. So that's why it's not unexpected, because if you look at the 136 naira or so difference subsidy that NNPCL is paying, I think if you remove that and private marketers go to buy, definitely looking at 1,200 to 1,300 naira per liter of petrol.
Yeah, in the total deregulation in a country full of poor people, is that a smart move? There's no country that does total deregulation of everything.
Let me reply with an opposite. It's a dumb move. There's nowhere in the world where you don't have government, one way or the other, subsidizing things. What I don't understand is whether government and the LMPC is in cahoot with Dangote. You remember Dangote did say that subsidy should totally go.
He did say so.
So, I don't know what is happening here, but what I do know is that Nigerians are having it up to their neck with poverty and pain, and you're still talking about increasing that pain, like you said a while ago, Constance. I think for me, I think the government is not thinking about the people that they are leading. They're not considering the fact that the people are really going through hardship, and they have to think outside the box to find a way to ameliorate the citizens' pain. It's real, and government has to be up to the task of finding what to do about this instead of exacerbating the pain of Nigerians.
Right. More discussion on that, I think, in the coming months. Let's look at the Guardian newspaper. State of emergency stalks rivers as political thugs attack councils. Anti-graft war won't be won by technicalities, declares Tinubu. Worries over petrol price as Tinubu deregulates downstream sector. We just saw that story. NAFDAC champions food labeling standards as workers commence indefinite strike. 80% of Africans unhappy with the delivery of democratic rule, says Akin Kekere Eku. This is based on a finding by an Afrobarometer survey. While Africans reject one-man rule, they are dissatisfied with the wide gap between demand for good governance and bad leadership. That's true talk right there, Chooks.
Yes, exactly. And by the way, Akin Kekere Ekun is the husband of the current CJN. And he's been a financial expert. He's been in the banking sector for several decades. And for him to come up with this, I think it was yesterday at the launch of the West African Democracy Fund or something like that. And he said the truth. He spoke the truth because most Africans, and particularly Nigerians, are not satisfied with the way things are going. But he was very quick to add that that doesn't mean that they have preference for military regimes. So, but the important thing is for political actors to brace up. Look at happenings in Rivers State. You ask yourself. Look at the arson. Apparently with the police in Kahut. Destruction of democratic structures. Because you talk about the foundation of democracy in Nigeria is the council at the council level. That's the primary base of democratic rule in Nigeria. The Supreme Court said, okay, that councils should be recognized and local government funds be sent directly to councils. But look at what's happening in Rivers State. It's a shame. So we have to really sit up. Political actors have to tell themselves the truth. That are we out for our own interest or out for the interest of the masses whom we claim to represent?
Nkechi, when we have this discussion, it's often said that it's the people, not the system. So what do we do here? Even if you change the political system.
I think it's both. These statistics should basically just make every leader and every region to sit up. What we're seeing is a widening gap between ideals of democracy and the actual delivery of leadership across the continent. People keep demanding more from their government, but what's been delivered is just very, very little. And this initiative has its work cut out of it for it, because the dissatisfaction of democratic governance is not just about one cycle of election, it's systematic. And so it's more than voting. Democracy should be inclusive. It speaks on equality and basically just means that everybody's voice actually matters. So this fund and this report that just came out should make everyone in the region sit up.
Right. Let's head to the international headlines. Daily Graphic from Ghana. Galami Crackdown. Government rolls out radical measures. President orders military deployment. The president of Ghana, Nana Akufo-Addo, has announced punitive measures against illegal mining, popularly known as Galamsey. Law enforcement agencies have been ordered to fish out illegal miners from water bodies and forest reserves. I mean, similar situation that we're facing in Nigeria, where illegal activities destroying the environment chokes.
Yes, I think Ghana's is even more sickening. To extract gold, you use the mineral called the compound called mercury, the element called mercury, and mercury is very, very poisonous. So when they wash the stones, mercury seeps into rivers and dams, and don't forget that these are rivers that feed public water works in Ghana. So you see that all over Africa, we have the same problem: illegal mining, illegal illegal logging. And Ghana has borne the brunt of this for decades. It's become a very, very big problem. That was why the government is clamping down on illegal miners in Ghana. And that led to protests by some youths that a few weeks ago that government should stop that. And even the opposition leader, former President John Mahama, condemned government, what he called government high-handedness in the handling of these protesters. Several of them are still in detention as we speak. So it's very interesting to see how the government of Atta is going to handle this crisis in this very important West African Anglophone country.
In Citizen newspaper from South Africa, SA Nigeria Rivalry still looks ugly. Diplomacy intervention needed. The Nigerian basketball team was supposed to come to South Africa, and there was a friction. It was difficult for them. Eventually, through diplomatic intervention, they arrived there. This looks bad, whether it's xenophobia against Nigerians or other Africans. It's not a pretty situation in South Africa, but particularly between Nigeria, the two big economies on the continent. It is unhealthy for the continent and for both countries. Chooks.
And it's very sad when placed against the background of the fact that Nigeria played a very, very important role in the dismantling of apartheid in South Africa. Nigeria put its resources, put its time, and several persons. Look at Murtala Mohammed, someone like Murtala Mohammed. He was killed a few months after he went to Addis Ababa, Ethiopia, to deliver a lecture called Africa Has Come of Age. Not just South Africa, but several southern African countries, Namibia, Zimbabwe. Nigeria played a very key role in helping to dismantle, to make them gain independence. So if you look at that, it's very, very bad that these countries, particularly South Africans, are seeing Nigerians as their economic and political rival. So you see, and it has snowballed into several ugly incidents. We've seen xenophobic attacks on Nigerians by South Africans. Yes, truth be told, there are several Nigerians who are in South Africa who are doing several into several illegal activities, but that shouldn't justify the kind of hatred, the kind of hate that Nigerians suffer in this very important African country.
Yeah, indeed, this cannot continue. I think both countries need to do something about it.
That's even begging the issue. Maybe one or two people doing. But the bottom line is, and a South African, a lady, I watched the viral video, came out and lambasted South Africans and began to point out what Nigeria and Nigerians have done for South Africa, and said, look, if you don't want Nigeria, pay them back all that. In fact, at a point in time, Nigeria paid for scholarships for South Africans that were imported here. And that, of course, you talked about Sonny Okosu, music-wise, what we've done for South Africa. And the embassy has stopped the under-18 D Tigers basketball team from going to South Africa for no reason. They didn't give any reason. You can't understand animosity at that level. Like you said, well, this is something that should be dialogue, not Georgia, not war, but South Africa has to be careful.
Yeah, there are ways to advance harmonious relationships between countries, but it has to be done deliberately. I think both countries have not attempted to do that. Now is the time to begin to make those moves. These measures
at very high level.
Yes, at very high levels. Financial Times this morning, enduring pain, Israelis hold hostage vigils. It's 1 year since that attack on Israeli soil by Hamas. Some hostages remain in captivity, and it's excruciating for their families in Kechi.
Yes, yesterday we spoke with the Israeli ambassador to Nigeria on that 1 year anniversary of Hamas's attack, and all over the country, all over the world, really, people were out, even in Israel, where they had a ceremony for the victims, the hostages, families of people who have lost their lives, and you had those hostages, their families, and people who have lost people because of this conflict, holding a whole separate ceremony, just basically demonstrating their anger and dissatisfaction on how the issues of this conflict is going on. People just think it's taking too long. People are dying, babies, children are dying just for no reason, because of big egos, basically. And so it's just sad that we're here 1 year after this. If you look at Ukraine and Russia, it's been years. And so it just seems like it's never ending and people are really suffering. It's just sad to see.
Right. Our final paper this morning, Washington Post. Harris launches unscripted interview after cautious rollout. The race is neck to neck in the presidential election in the U.S. between Vice President Kamala Harris and Donald Trump of the Conservative Party or Republican Party. VP,
GOP.
Yeah, GOP. Kamala Harris, she has been very, very cautious, granting, unscripted interviews that has been met with criticisms. Now, she's sort of, yes, she is sort of. Is that a good thing, Ndi?
It is a fantastic thing. In fact, look at this. This week alone, Harris is appearing on CBS News 60 Minutes, a Univision Town Hall, Howard Stern on Cyrus XM, Late Night with Stephen Colbert, and the Call Her Daddy podcast. Her already made Minnesota Governor Tim Walz is rounding out a West Coast. So I think it's planned from when she took over, when she became the running mate, to picking when she became the nominee of the Democratic Party, to picking her running mate Tim Walz, and then to the debate, which she won. I don't know whether to the debate.
She did well.
And then she did well, fine, thank you. And then now, a bliss of, I think she's being very systematic about this.
Right. Okay, I think that's about all we can afford to discuss this morning on the paper review. We're almost out of time.
Thank you so much, Dr. Constance Igoku. Thank you, Chuks Akuna, the ED of Authority Newspaper. That's all we have for you here on Daybreak. Up next, it's The Morning Show. I am Kechi Nana.
And I am Ndi Amogo. Thanking you for watching. Bye.